So what we are primarily focused on is to offer solutions that is beyond telco services. Most of which is what we call now, or part of our task is called cloud solutions. So we also offer data center services and manage IT services. But what really is cloud for us? So there are different speakers already that have talked about cloud, all the benefits in terms of agility, how it will help our business, how it transform our business model. So from a purely CapEx play, we now move into OpEx, or sometimes we call it a pay-per-use play in terms of cloud. But right now, let me take you through how can we put our agencies or our businesses to be more resilient when it comes to cloud. Let us start at the very things that's very near to us, our workplace. So before, in terms of workplaces, we usually have personal productivity. We usually operate in silos. So in our workstations, we have piles of information, of papers, memos, documents for signing. We all have that in our desk. This is a very silo mentality. So we call it. This is very inherent to most of the businesses that we have right now, and most probably in some agencies in our. And then again, this another thing that's happening right now is most of these files, our desks, are divided into so many offices. And in terms of work time of day, we usually go from 8 to 5. So after 5 o'clock, it's time for us to go home to our families, to join our friends, then there's no need for us to work anymore. So the restrictions of doing work is mainly time-bounded by a bandit clock. In terms of where we do things on the IT side, we are confined by using our laptops, our desktops, which is highly governed by our organizations. Nowadays, how people work is very, very different. In most organizations, departments need to talk to each other. There should be no silo mentality. There should be alignment between the organization, between the departments, so that they'll be able to move the company or the agency's agenda forward. And working together doesn't mean that you have to see each other in one place. Now, technology or through cloud, you'll be able to work any place at any time. So, you're not anymore confined right now. Most people also in the private organizations are not confined into an 8 by 5 work hour. As long as we have access to the information, as long as we have access to the office applications, we are bounded to work there. And this is accessible through the proliferation of devices. So now you can access through your mobile, your tablets, maybe personal or company provided. So this is a snapshot of this is my workstation before. So this was taken 3 years ago. So my workstation, of course, there's a laptop. That's around 20 gig of office documents. Then I have my paper documents on the left side. Also have more office documents. That's a little bit on archive underneath. So yung hindi ko ginagamit, nilalagay ko muna sa ilalim. Kasi baka eventually, gamitin ko siya. Then yung mga CDs, notebooks, I put it in the steel cabinet. Then yung reminders, sticky notes, put it on that side of the fence. Then also, if I receive certificates, recognitions, I put it, minsan hindi na sila kasya. And also the name cards. So every time I meet customers, partners, so I put it on that side. So this is how a typical workstation would look like inside of you. And more of this is replicated throughout our organization. Most probably, some of you may correlate. Pwedeng ganito yung iba. Yung iba na medyo OC, maybe they have a different organization, but still the amount of paper, the amount of data that is just within your desk is lying around. And that is happening through multiple offices. So you can imagine how many physical data you have flying around, floating around these offices on their desk. Now, this is how my workstation now looks like. Through cloud, everything was more organized. In terms of data security, the papers is not just lying around. What's left is my Chromebook, an in and out tray, and a few post-its. Still the post-it won't do, right? But it's more of the greetings. Hello, thank you, happy birthday, happy Father's Day. And all of this we were able to successfully do through our transformation. So we moved from the traditional email system to a productive, more collaborative Google Apps platforms that we're using. And in terms of before we use traditional notebooks, now we use Chromebooks. So in terms of security, in terms of how fast it boots up, we're able to put more efficiency on our workforce. Likewise, our problem when it comes to data retrieval and data centralization wasn't solved because everything was centralized in our cloud environment. So, gone are the days na I cannot reply to your memo because I lost the memo paper a few days back because it was blown away by the electric or somebody stepped into it or a cup of coffee poured over it. So these are the simple things but would affect heavily our productivity in the office. And again, how we work as a team and how we work as an agency. Another thing that we should be looking at on how we are to be sure that the cloud really works for us is to evaluate the cloud providers' location and facilities. So I will be drilling more on the local cloud providers. So for example, is your cloud provider built on top of a data center that is at least tier 3 grade? Does it has the proper cooling for their system? Or more importantly, the most important, so to correct, is your data center, the cloud provider's data center, can it withstand a massive power failure? When you say massive power failure, let's say a whole city goes down. The whole city of Makati goes down in terms of power failure. Knock on wood, it will not happen, but it should be able to withstand at least two power major failures. It should be able to have sufficient UPS and battery banks. And that is, and among the surveys that we had, and even Forrester can attest to it, that one of the major contribution of disaster in terms of IT is power failure, mainly as unforeseen. So it's either their UPS went down, there was not enough diesel in the generator system, and then again because they only have one power provider. So that's why more and more companies are thinking right now into outsourcing their systems to cloud providers that has dual power systems, with data centers with dual power systems. Of course, in terms of accessibility, we should be able to support it through its high terabit switching network. For example, I think there was a question that was posted yesterday that as a local telco provider, how can you improve the efficiency in terms of latency? Well, if you put it on a public cloud provider, you'll be using the public internet. By virtue of average, you're looking at least 150 to 170 milliseconds if it's located in the US, if the cloud provider is located in the US. But if you have it locally hosted, you can even customize or even ask your cloud provider to put up a local list line from your office to the cloud provider's data center. Give or take, it's only, maybe the latency will be around 30 to 40 milliseconds. So if your application is sensitive to latency, then our advice is really to move into to use a local cloud provider. In terms of, let's say there's a disaster, of course, we would want that the cloud provider would be eco-friendly, would be using a fire suppression system that is both non-harmful to the environment and to the operators inside. And then, again, they should be professional enough that they are certified by international organizations in terms of security, business continuity, and IT service management. Just to plug a little bit, our data center, one of our data centers in Cebu, at the height of Typhoon Yolanda, there was not a single crack. We had no single downtime during that typhoon. Our data center in Makati, for example, at the height of the Typhoon Ugoy, there was not a single water that went into our data center. Mainly because it's located 7.5 above sea level, 7.5 meters above sea level. So those are the things that you have to consider when you look into your cloud providers, the location of their facilities. It's very critical where they're located because you're depending on their backbone, on their facilities for your business, for your data. So where else can we use? There was before, there was a saying that I think I can build a better data center. I think I can build a better cloud than any other cloud providers in the Philippines. Well, that was let me try to lay a simple fact, but it's not true. For example, Google's cloud platform, if you try to outsource to a public cloud provider, their uptime as of 2014, December 31, 2014, their uptime was 99.999%. Amazon's cloud, which is based in Singapore, has 4 nines. So ours has 4 as well. But what we're trying to say is that you don't need to build your own cloud, because there are certain companies whose full resources, whose expertise are fully dedicated to this venture. Now let's go to some not so fun facts about the world of IT or data. You say data, let's say there's a survey done that usually 1 out of every 14 drives goes out or fails within the year. I mean, even in your laptops or your desktops, the most replaceable part is your hard disk. Your hard disk is one of the most important component of your desktop today, really because it holds all the data that you need. Should there's something happen in your servers or in your system, you should be able to retrieve it, and once your business goes back online, you should be able to use it. So, what do you do usually to protect your data? Well, traditionally, what we do is we use a backup tape, right? Put it in a tape for business continuity. We ship the tape out of the office. We put it in another branch. Some, well, low-funded organization, they buy terabytes of hard disk from a local supplier in the mall, and then they back up their data there. Kaya lang, iba, nakakalimutan na we have this incident with one customer who laging niyang, he does back up daily of his data, rigorously, diligently. And then one time, so after backing up, iniiwanan niya yung data sa ibabaw ng server. Mainly because yung way niya pauwi is medyo, it's a little bit dangerous. So pwede mas-snatch sa kanyang bag niya, dala-dala yung data ng company. There was a fire incident that took place sa small server room nila. Nasunog yung server, nasunog yung disk drive. So, pati yung data niya na binabackup niya every day was gone. For most of us who have bigger budgets, what we do is we replicate everything. So once we replicate, mas costly yun. So we double everything. Double the servers, double the storage, we double everything. But again, for us, not most of us has the luxury of that budget. So if you do it yourself, there's so many costs that involved. So aside from hardware and software, which is usually yun ang nakikita natin, there's also the maintenance and operational aspect of this type of solution. So, why don't you store it in a cloud environment? Really? You can access, as I mentioned, if it's in a cloud environment, you can access it anywhere. In terms of it's using a disk-based, if it's using a disk-based infrastructure, mas mabilis yung pagba-backup, and you can transmit it using either an internet connection or even a local disk line. So a simple diagram on how a cloud provider now offers a backup solution. So maybe there's just one person managing the entire office, the entire infrastructure, the entire servers, wherein all of their data is backup central, one provider. Bahala na si provider on how he splits the data between his data centers. But logically, you treat the provider as just one centralized huge backup system. Now, why do we do backup? We do backup usually because we have to prepare for disaster, may it be natural or IT in nature. So pagka disaster recovery yung pinag-uusapan, one of the part of a disaster recovery plan is to have a backup site, or a backup server, or a backup system. But then again, when you do backup, what you do is do a backup only of your data. When you try to recover from a disaster, you usually install the new hardware. Sorry. So usually do install the hardware, installation of OS, installation of application, you test the application, then you restore the data. Your time to recover will take a little while. So, but if you would want something that will be faster in terms of recovery, you have a recovery time objective that is nearly zero, what we recommend is you use a DR solution. A DR platform wherein you can maximize it through cloud, wherein you do DR through virtualization. So that what's being backed up is not only your data files, but the actual image of your servers, of your entire system to the cloud. So once you restore, once there's a disaster, you just point it to that cloud, you get the users use those virtual servers temporarily. And then once your primary system goes up, you direct them back. Your recovery time objective is much, much faster compared to just doing a backup. Okay, so simply it's just backing up the entire image, not only the data. So lastly, one of the nuances we have on cloud is about security. So there's a lot of security issues, whether it's cloud or whether it's our traditional physical infrastructure. But most importantly, there are a lot of new tools, there are a lot of delivery mechanisms that is being developed or being thought of every single minute. Let me zoom into an attack called DDoS. So these are just snapshots of what's happening in the Philippines and even worldwide in terms of DDoS threats or hacking threats. And sad to say that most of this is being funded by cybercrime. So let me speed up. So a few more minutes. And most of these attacks are unknown. And the target really, largely according to survey, are government institutions. We also have data that proves that every time there's an upcoming election, data is being, the government usually receives 2 times more of the attack than the usual. So DDoS is mainly an attempt to hug your resources. May it be your servers, may it be your bandwidth. So it's a saturation of your provider's bandwidth and a saturation of your firewall. It will exhaust your firewall. What we're saying is that firewall is not enough to protect you from a DDoS attack. So net effect, we'll have internet services offline, cloud services that are offline, DNS, almost your whole full IT infrastructure will be down if you receive a DDoS attack. So usually we do firewall and we buy an anti-DDoS on-premise solution. But there's other solutions out there where you can reside it on a cloud, ask your cloud provider to do a DDoS protection for you so that before it hits your virtual machines, your cloud environment, you'll be protected. So our final key message is we're here to help everyone move IT forward. We're here to be your partners in moving IT forward. And we want to complement whatever the things we're doing right now. So we're not here to take away jobs or to replace anyone, but we're here to help and augment.
Tutok na sa Wazzup Pilipinas, ibutin ang mundo, kainin ang gusto, alamin ng tamang daan kung paano ang umaseso. Kasama ang buong tropa ng Wazzup Pilipinas, aming ibibigay sa madla at ipapadanas. Ang saya ng Wazzup Pilipinas, tutok na sa Wazzup Pilipinas. Ang saya dito sa Pilipinas, ihahatid sa inyo ng Wazzup Pilipinas.